Have you ever wondered what the world would look like if the history books were completely wrong? Imagine a reality where the American flag never flew over the Sea of Tranquility in 1969. A world where the Soviet Union never collapsed, but grew into a galactic empire spanning the solar system. A world where we have fusion power and cities on Mars, but where personal privacy is a forgotten concept. Tonight, we peel back the curtain. Forget the history you know. Welcome to the reality of the Red Moon. The story begins not with a whisper, but with a silence that screamed across the entire world. The date is July 20th, 1969. In the Mission Control Center in Houston, the air is thick with smoke. The flight directors are staring at the main monitor, paralyzed. On the screen, a grainy image from the moon flickers. It is not the American Eagle. It is a hulking, insect-like Soviet machine with Cyrillic lettering stenciled on its side. The voice that crackles through the speakers is not Neil Armstrong. It is the sharp, triumphant baritone of Alexei Leonov. He says, "I step out for the party and for all mankind." The words hit the American public like a physical blow. As the red flag is driven into the gray lunar dust, the geopolitical order of Earth shatters. The Soviet Union has won. But this victory was secured 3 years earlier, in January 1966, when the chief designer, Sergei Korolev, survived a critical surgery. The survival of the chief designer changed everything. He brutally purged the incompetent engineers and fixed the fatal flaws of the massive N-1 rocket. He installed the Cord system, an analog computer that kept the 30 engines of the first stage firing in perfect harmony. While NASA was paralyzed by the Apollo 1 fire, the Soviet factories worked night and day, driven by the fear of failure. When the N-1 rocket thundered off the pad in 1969, the CIA finally realized the truth. The sleeping giant had awoken. The impact on the United States was catastrophic. The myth of American exceptionalism evaporated the moment the red flag touched the moon. President Nixon tried to pivot, but the nation was broken. The stock market crashed, and the economy entered a deep depression. Congress slashed the NASA budget by 70%. The mighty Saturn V rockets were sold for scrap or left to rust. The United States retreated into isolationism. The dollar lost its value, replaced by a global economy anchored by the Soviet rubble. While the West stagnated, the Soviet Union underwent a transformation. They activated OGAS, the all-state automated system for the economy. By 1975, every factory and mine was connected to a central computing hub in Moscow. It was an internet for machines. The system eliminated inefficiency. Store shelves were full. The Soviet standard of living began to eclipse that of Western Europe. This was cyber socialism, a world where algorithms managed the economy and the party managed the algorithms. Emboldened by stability, the space program accelerated. The temporary landing sites grew into Zvezda Base, a permanent fortress at the South Pole. In 1982, the Soviets deployed the Polyus orbital battle stations, armed with high-energy laser cannons. These satellites gave Moscow the ability to shoot down any American missile. The concept of mutually assured destruction was dead. The Cold War cooled down because the West had no cards left to play. The Soviet Union had achieved strategic immunity. The moon provided the ultimate prize, helium-3. This rare isotope enabled clean nuclear fusion reactors to be built on Earth. In 1988, the first fusion plant came online in Leningrad. The oil market collapsed, ruining the American economy completely. With infinite energy, the Kremlin looked to Mars. The nuclear-powered spacecraft Lenin was assembled in orbit for the long journey. On November 7, 1989, cosmonaut Svetlana Savitskaya became the first human being to walk on the red sands of Mars. There was no fall of the Berlin Wall that year, Instead, it was reinforced with advanced materials, a monument to Eastern dominance. Today, in 2024, the Soviet Union is a techno-statist empire stretching from Berlin to Vladivostok. Cities like Moscow are futuristic metropolises of glass and steel, connected by magnetic levitation trains moving at sonic speeds. The OGIS network manages every aspect of life. Privacy is extinct, traded willingly by citizens for total security and abundance. Medicine has conquered death. Genetic therapies developed in zero gravity have extended life expectancy to over 100 years. Citizens are healthy, educated, and focused on the stars. They follow the philosophy of cosmism, believing humanity must wake up the universe. The United States is a land of rust and nostalgia. The great highways are empty, and the skyscrapers are half abandoned. Silicon Valley is a hub of black market technology. Underground hackers use illegal code to bypass the Soviet digital firewalls. They are the last spark of chaos in a world of rigid order, broadcasting forbidden rock music and news to the East. The American government is weak, a secondary power that trades raw materials for advanced Soviet medical technology. On the moon, the city of Tsiolkovsky is home to 20,000 people. It has parks, theaters, and low-gravity hospitals. A new generation, the Lunarians, has come of age. Born in low gravity, they are tall, thin, and pale. They do not view Earth as home. To them, the blue planet is just a heavy, resource-rich garden to be managed. Heavy transport ships depart daily from lunar orbit. Their ion engines glow blue as they head for the mines of Jupiter. The ambitions of the state do not stop at Mars. Massive atmospheric processors are currently drifting in the acid clouds of Venus. We are cooling the hellish planet down, turning it into a second garden for the future workers of the Soviet Union. Further out, near Jupiter, the penal colonies on Ganymede extract the ice needed to fuel the great fusion drive engines. Dissent is treated as a mental illness. Re-education centers allow citizens to rediscover their love for the collective and the party. There is no war, no hunger, and no crime. There is only the endless, silent march of progress into the void. We have conquered the solar system. We have fusion power and immortality. But we have forgotten what it means to be free. The footprints left by Alexei Leonov in 1969 are preserved under a glass dome, a shrine to the New World Order. Tourists from Earth pay a fortune to stand there and look at the red flag that changed the direction of history. The space race was never just about rockets. It was a war of ideologies. In this world, the collective defeated the individual. As the sun sets over the Martian colony, a red star rises in the sky. It is a reminder of the price we paid. Yet, ships are already being built for the journey to Alpha Centauri. The Soviet mission is eternal expansion, no matter the cost. Humanity has survived. We have spread our seed across the stars. We are safe, we are fed, and we are watched. This is the reality of the Red Moon, a world of wonders and silence, where the party watches over us from the heavens. Look up at the sky tonight. Imagine if the light of the moon was just a little bit redder than it is. Because in the infinite multiverse, the path we took is just one of many possibilities. The red dawn that began in 1969 never ended. It just got brighter, consuming the night with its artificial glow. Which world would you choose? The chaotic freedom of the past or the ordered perfection of the stars? The choice is yours, but history has already been written. The red moon is rising.